I am the law. Hey, guys, gutting the sacred cow. Wow, you guys are amazing. Why are you amazing? Because you single-handedly set new records for us, and we can't thank you enough. Single day high record, shattered. Downloads for the week, shattered. Fantastic job. And especially for all those folks who came over from Compound Media and Anthony Cumia's fans, you guys came over in droves, and we can't thank you enough for that. And with that, we've got fantastic news because who's our guest this week? The CEO of Compound Media, Mr. Anthony from Opie and Anthony himself, Anthony Cumia. And he does the 1997 classic with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, Face Off. And you better believe Anthony gets a few John Travolta impressions in here. But before we get to it, don't forget, guttingthesacredcow.com. Why should you go there? We've got blogs every day. We've got our list of 10 top 10 books that became great films for a surprise, top 10 underrated films, so on and so forth. Go on there to get a shirt, mug, hat, bag, whatever. And for those of you who have not yet done so, please write us a 5-star, give us a 5-star rating, and write us a 2-sentence review. It does help. I know it sounds so dumb, but it does help. Thank you again for all our fans. Thank you. You guys have killed it. We cannot thank you enough so much. Especially all you Compound Media followers. Thank you so much. And enjoy Anthony Cumia because he kills it here on Gutting the Sacred Cow doing Face Off.
Gather round, here's what I know. It's just that this cow has got to go. I know some people kinda like it, yeah, it's trending right now. Yeah, that doesn't matter, cause we're gutting the sacred cow.
Hey everybody, how are you? Gutting the Sacred Cow. Here we are. Wow, today we have an absolute goddamn treat for you. Anthony Cumia from Compound Media has decided to grace us with his presence. We've had on, Jesus Christ, 1, 2, 3, 4 of his employees, 5 total as we just had last week. Bill Schultz come back and take on Kevin Israel's favorite, one of favorites, Independence Day. And I think
right, it wasn't one of my favorites.
You like it
Relax.
a
I
lot.
liked it.
a lot. You defended the shit out of it. So Anthony Cumia was kind enough to have me on his show, and Anthony's a huge film fan. So I said, shit, why not ask the boss of Compound Media to come on and do a film? At first, he first asked to do a film. I said, oh, Jesus, you're going to make me sit through this again? He initially chose Irishman.
I'm so glad you didn't choose
3.5 hours.
that.
Oh, I am so too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But he decided to call an audible, thank God, and check down at the line of scrimmage and chose the 1997 classic Face Off.
Yes.
Nicolas Cage. So we always start off with scores from the audiences. So IMDb, Anthony and Kevin, as we know, is a 1 to 10 rating. What did Face Off get from IMDb?
I didn't check.
I know that. That's why I have the answers right here.
I know. I'm trying to figure out what did the audience give it?
IMDb rating overall. Rotten Tomatoes is next. I kind of misspoke there.
I
but
would say the audience probably somewhere around 80, 85.
it's a 1 through 10 with decimal points.
Oh, I thought that
Yeah.
was looking at
No,
it.
Rotten
So
Tomatoes.
I'll
is
say
percent.
then an 8.4.
8.4. Kevin Israel, what do you have?
I was going to say an 8-9.
7.3 for IMDb. Little
Wow.
lower than I thought. Little lower. Critics, Rotten Tomatoes. This is the 1 to 100 percentage. What did critics give Face Off?
I think this was the critics really liked this. I remember.
God. Yeah, now I got to think there's some star power in it. So I'm going to go a little higher than I would. I was going to say 50, but I'm going to say 60%.
Kevin?
Oh, I'm going way higher than that. I'm going to say 83.
92.
Whoa,
What?
my God.
My jaw dropped as well. I go, you got to be fucking kidding me. Audience score. What did they have?
The audience. I'm sure the audience must have loved this. I'm going to say 90.
Yeah, they had to have. You're right. 91. I'll do the Price is Right thing.
Damn, your price is right.
$1. 82% for the
okay.
audience.
All right.
A little shocking.
The critics liked it better than the audience. That's weird.
And especially for a
John Woo
film like
movie.
this, exactly. Yeah, I guess they're all a bunch of hard-boiled fans. 1997, this film came out, as I mentioned, a budget at the time of $80 million. That brought in a haul of $245.7 million in 1997, translated into 2020, a budget of $129 million, bringing in a haul of $398 million.
Not a bad payday.
3x plus investment. Yeah, that's it. Quotes. Kevin Israel, I can eat a peach for hours.
Ugh.
If I let you suck my tongue, would you be
You
grateful?
took mine.
By the way, that line, all Cage improv, no script. That's my guess.
No, you know what? I think you're wrong because later in the movie, she says it to him.
Right.
She goes, "Oh, I'm just sick of you asking me to suck your tongue." And I was like, "Wow, that's the line they're gonna lean on."
Right. And the other line too, of course, I wrote down. Want to see what's in Papa's bag? Peaches.
Enough with the peaches.
What a creepy fuck. Anthony, any
Get
quotes?
it.
Any quotes jump out to you, Anthony?
It's actually anything that ever comes out of Travolta's mouth while he's playing Pastor Troy.
Right.
Because it's also douchey in his delivery because he tries to deliver it like Nicolas Cage would. There's one where he's in the prison with him,
Right.
and he holds up the newspaper, and God damn, the exact quote slips my mind, but he gets something like, ready to eat good news lately?
That's right.
He's in his face. It's so douchey. It is goosebump inducing, and not for a good reason.
I read not my 5 fun facts I have later, but I'll share this with you nonetheless. The two of them, Cage and Travolta, hung out for weeks so they could pick up each other's inflections, intonations, body language, all that. So
Well, they didn't do a good job of it.
No.
Imagine the poor bastards that had to be party to those two hanging out and riffing with each other.
Yeah.
I always like the line, "I'm gonna take his face off." And that was like a whole moment where they're all doing it.
Yeah.
Like we get the name of the movie.
Because they were on drugs, man, and that's what drugs does to people.
This film is the epitome of having the title before the movie was made.
Yes.
They're like, Face Off. We're going to write around the title for once.
Yeah.
Kevin Israel, any other quotes you have?
No, the tongue sucking was the one that really made me want to vomit.
5 fun facts.
5 fun
Kevin Israel, this
facts.
one's going to strike you right in the
Fun fact for you
heart.
right now.
Rob Cohen from the Fast and Furious films was originally tapped to direct this film, but turned it down to make what film? Dragonheart.
Oh, well.
I haven't even thought of the movie Dragonheart till you said it in 20 years, probably.
Nor has Sean Connery until that residual check came in the mail.
I'm a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, pushy fire. Here's one. This one is going to set all your balls on fire because this is the who was supposed to play who originally. And the first 2 names are going to get your dick so hard. Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger were considered to play this film, but when John Woo signed on, he shot that down. Can you imagine this fucking
I wish I could have seen that movie.
Me too.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm
Michael-
trying to imagine, like, the Arnold voice
Yes.
when he finally has it. Because at one point, he does that throat thing goes where
Right.
he changes his voice. So you'd have to have what? Either Stallone talking like this, or you have Arnold going like, "Hey, yeah, I'm your husband." It would be even more ridiculous than the movie is.
Hey, yo, would you, if I let you suck my tongue, would you be grateful? I could eat a peach for hours. also considered to be in the role, Michael Douglas, who also executive produced this film. Michael Douglas and Harrison Ford were originally thought about pairing in the film. And post-Heat, Robert De Niro and Al Pacino was considered.
Oh, God. Could you? No, I don't even want to think about that scenario. Wow, I never thought Cage and Travolta were the good choice.
Oh, Anthony, I have two more combinations. I'm going to save the best one for last. Bruce Willis and Alec Baldwin. Not a bad one. Not
you
bad.
could almost see that. Yeah.
And that feels like it would be the same movie.
Exactly. And this one, if you thought Stallone and Schwarzenegger were going to get you rock solid, how about Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal?
Oh,
wow.
Man.
I would have paid to see that film 5 times in a row if they would have made that one.
You know, if we can scrape up 10 grand, we can probably get them to make that movie now.
I think people probably figured I'm ready to suspend disbelief, but there's no way you could get that fat face onto Jean-Claude Van Damme's skinnier face.
Did you guys ever watch Lawman, the cop show Seagal did on AMC? Years ago? It was so great watching them have to cut away anytime there was anything remotely faster than a jog required by Seagal. His bitch teeth were going to knock him out before the fucking suspect had a chance to knock him out. Number 3.
Is it ironic that Michael Douglas got throat cancer from eating peaches? Like, that's what happened.
Well, by the way, did we identify that it was Catherine Zeta-Jones' box that had the hot dose that gave him the HPV?
In this day and age, the truth is second to a good story.
Ain't that the truth?
We all want it to be true. So it is true.
Yeah. If that's not on his headstone when he dies, it's going to be a waste of a story.
If there's a box to get cancer from, that's one of them, I would say.
Exactly.
I'm in a box because I ate a box.
That's great. Number 3, John Woo had to pay for the rights to have Over the Rainbow out of his own pocket because the studio thought that would not work. And of course, got reimbursed when the movie was an ultra success. Number 4.
I think they were right that it didn't work, but
yeah,
it was 100%.
It's such a stupid scene.
If it didn't send shivers up your butthole, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Number 4, here's who turned down the role of Castor Troy, Mark Wahlberg. Huh? I'll let off a big missile. You want to see a missile in my pants? I'll show you a big missile, huh?
What was the movie he did in the 90s where he was a nutcase boyfriend? Fear. So I could kind of see him. That was decent.
Especially when his finger popping Alicia Silverstone on a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
He gets a high five from me for that one.
Let me in the fucking house.
Last one. One of the rejected ways to have Castor Troy into a coma was for him to fall from a control tower. But they changed it because of, common sense.
The jet engine made a lot more sense.
Oh, we're going to get to that. But we're going to hear someone else who had a hell of a take on this as he recently rewatched this film with none other than Dave Landau. So, Anthony Cumia, it is now your turn to gut the sacred cow.
Face Off is one of these movies that, and there's a couple of these, and this is why I had such a hard time picking a movie. I hate movies. Like I have, and I know people have their guilty pleasures and things, but if I hate a movie so badly, I consistently watch it because I love to hate a movie. Some that fall into this category are Twister. Twister is a great movie where I am embarrassed the entire time. I'm masochistic when it comes to movies I cannot stand, and I will watch them over and over again. Independence Day, which you just mentioned, Bill Schultz watching. Can't stand it. Love it. And Face Off falls into that category. I watch it, and there's nothing but contempt during the time I'm watching. I cannot stand every single aspect of this movie. The directing, I guess it's supposed to be called acting. It's all shit. The special effects, every time I see it, I think about Beavis and Butthead when they sit there and go, these special effects aren't very special. It's like John Woo got a cheap buy of a shitload of fireworks, just stock fireworks, and threw them everywhere to blow things up. That's what blew up. It was literally like you see at Disney at Epcot at the end of the night. That's their special effect. I can't stand it. Right from the start, this movie starts, and you're supposed to figure out who the bad guy is, Castor Troy. The character development is the shallowest thing I've ever seen in a movie. Mm-hmm. Instant bad. He gets out of the car in slow motion, and whoa, the cape jacket he's wearing, just for the 2 seconds that he walks from the car to the plane, where some crony, one of these cronies in movies, takes it off and puts something else, gives him his golden guns. So it's all this, it's so like shallow. There's nothing to it that makes you think about the characters. They're just given to you. The same thing with the Travolta's daughter. Is she a bad girl? Is she supposed to be one of these rambunctious teen girls that doesn't
She's got a nose ring.
Of course.
She loves the movie The Craft. We get it.
Right. She just, she's got her bad makeup and the nose ring, and it's, oh, Dad, and goes out and we go, 3.2 seconds, and I know exactly what her story is.
She gives hand jobs.
She is the president of the Courtney Love fan club on the internet. Got it.
Yeah. And Travolta's wife, just this boring, matronly woman. Now, Travolta's no kid in this movie. It's not what, he didn't have to take time off from Welcome Back, Kotter to make this movie. We know he's already been in a few movies, and he's not a kid, but it looked like he was playing the role of her son. Like, she just comes off as this older, not fun, not exciting woman. And
I said she was like the ant
thing that they do. This whole rubbing the
waterfall.
Face. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
the waterfall.
Because it goes.
Why do you know that?
Because I did a lot of fucking research for this goddamn show.
Your family does that. That's the goatee family thing, isn't it?
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Isn't that how those two women killed Kim Jong-un's cousin in the airport? They just had some poison on their hand and did the waterfall. Yes. First of all, it's just plain unsanitary in these days of COVID. It should be edited out of the movie, like Gone with the Wind and stuff. You shouldn't have somebody touching someone's face. Dr. Fauci gives the movie a 1.
Imagine being at their family reunion as a date, and they just come up and start rubbing your face. You're like, what the fuck is this family about?
Rubbing their face? What a weirdo fucking family.
It'd be weirder if they're all wearing hijabs and then doing the waterfall. That'd be even weirder.
Yeah. So now you have John Travolta playing Nicolas Cage and Nicolas Cage playing John Travolta. Two always bad, over-the-top actors. Now they have to over-the-top each other in this movie. So you get this cacophony of horrible dialogue and acting where these two are trying to be each other. And you don't even for a second believe that either one is the other's personality in that different phase. It's Travolta acting badly and Cage acting badly in a script that is so beyond being able to suspend disbelief, like I said. The only good effects were the removing of the face. Like when they were in that makeshift warehouse hospital.
Yeah.
That they're doing this amazing experiment.
It's like where the Joker in the Nicholson Batman film got sewed up with that same kind of fucking layout.
They're doing a type of surgery that would be this amazing surgery in what amounts to a chemical warehouse looking thing from one of those thug movies. So you got the special effects look pretty good. Taking the face off thing, the laser, that looked pretty good. But there are so many inconsistencies that they just can't really explain away, and you're supposed to just go, all right, like the weight, the eyes, the teeth, the inside of the mouth.
The teeth was a thing. Yep.
Like there are things that just don't jive with. You can't just smash someone's face on there. And then we're supposed to be led to believe that only the face came off, and the bodies were the same. Well, you could just shave some chest hair off.
Right.
Their body types are completely different.
And they gloss that over. They
Very
gloss
much
that.
so.
They go height, eyes. That's negligible.
Yeah,
Is
negligible.
It?
2-inch
height difference. I think I would notice when someone's 2 inches shorter than what I am.
So the guy's brother, who's so hyper paranoid, he notices everything.
Yeah.
We don't need to worry about that.
What about when Joan Allen mistakenly fucks Travolta / Nicolas Cage? She goes, "Wait a minute, that's not your dick. You curved to the left and upward."
Yeah, because he says later on, I think Castor Troy as John Travolta with Castor Troy in him, says something to the effect of, "I don't know what's worse, having your face or your body."
Right.
He says that in the movie, which makes you go, wait, you just totally fucked up what you said earlier.
Yep.
The movie's body off then. Take his body off. It's not face off, it's the whole fucking thing. Why didn't they just do that? Because that would at least make it plausible, and it's ridiculous anyway. So
that's a great point.
Yeah, they completely fucked that up with that one line. And then the little story with the woman. What's her name? She's the pretty woman there. That's in there. Not pretty woman.
Oh, Gina Gershon.
Gina Gershon. Thank you.
Yes.
She's got a kid that she so cares about, but she's a fucking terrible, horrible murderer, sociopath.
Yeah.
She guns down people with just no regard.
Hey, but she did tell the kid never to do that.
Yeah, it's right.
She did say, "Don't ever do that, honey." So
right.
So there was some parenting.
The, Somewhere Over the Rainbow segment of the movie where they put the headphones on the little kid and play Somewhere Over the Rainbow while there is irreparable damage done to his psyche as he's just watching people being murdered all around him. That kid is going to be so screwed up. Every time the kid wants to take a jog down the beach and put on headphones, he's gonna duck and cover, for Christ's sakes. Oh yeah, anytime Thanksgiving or Christmas rolls around and the Wizard of Oz comes on, he's gonna grab a kitchen knife and just start stabbing people.
Well,
it's never over. It's never over.
As a firearm aficionado, would a pair of headphones playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow be enough to cover up a multi-gun gunfight going on in close quarters indoors?
No, of course not. If you had genuine protective earphones that you use at a shooting range, it still would be loud. And he's just got this crappy headphones on.
He looks so happy, though.
Yeah,
I always think of, what's that?
I was going to say, Fisher-Price headset is not going to cure tinnitus. Yeah.
That's what you see at the police rangers. They're all wearing little Fisher-Price headsets while they're target shooting. So it continues with them two going through this ridiculous John Woo gunfight sequences where instead of just taking careful aim and making sure someone's dead, you fling your body sideways and shoot like this. And of course hit everybody. Again, action movie stuff, I get it, but it's so over the top. Again, way over the top. This move always cracks me up.
Yeah,
Why would you do this? Why not just do this and then, I don't know, this move.
Wouldn't the recoil but kind of almost damn near break your arms or something like, or close to?
Yeah, I don't get that one either. Oh, you bring up the jet engine thing, yeah. The jet engine thing at the beginning, how Castor Troy is killed in that. They're having a conversation, John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, in a closed room with a jet engine running.
Yeah.
It's running. Remember, it turns on at one point. And a jet engine's running, and they're literally, talking to each other like this and stuff. It's so stupid. And then I guess they crank up the gas and he gets pushed in front of it and show not a singe mark on him.
Yeah, wouldn't he have been incinerated?
Yeah. Archer would be accused of walking around in blackface.
Right.
If they actually had Nicolas Cage's post-jet engine face.
Right. The one note I had on here about the fucking of course the jet engine doesn't kill Nicolas Cage because he's tougher than the Hulk, Chuck Norris, and Magnus Magnuson combined, right? Fuck out of here with that nonsense.
A jet engine at full speed throws him against iron mesh.
Yeah.
And no props.
He should have been like Sarah Connor was in Terminator 2 when the fucking nuclear bomb goes off, where her flesh just disappears from her fucking skeleton, and then ash. Yes.
These two guys take more bodily damage in a non-superhero movie and survive without an ounce of injury.
Right.
More than I think any other movie I've ever seen.
It's so bad. And then when all's said and done, like you think the movie's over in the church scene, you know, here's where you just get it over with. The doves fly off and there's more slow motion. A lot of the guns in each other's face from 2 feet away thing that we love so much. And then someone just decided to go, it's coming in a little. You know, we need a boat chase.
For 20 fucking minutes.
Fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, we need a speedboat chase. Where did that come from?
I forgot all about the boat chase. I was
did too.
sure it ended in the church. And then they got on the boat and there was like,
a
boat?
They have this boat chase out of nowhere. Someone just said, I want boat chase. Producer, I want boat chase.
That's a horrible John Woo. Anthony, that's a horrible John Woo impression right there.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe that was the John. So there's these 2 speedboats conveniently located at the same dock. And these guys just are experts at driving speedboats. Another shitload of police officers are killed on a police boat because they can't hit anything. And from a moving speedboat, Pastor Troy and John Travolta's body just wipes out the entire police force on a police boat. And then they bump a little. One boat explodes. They're fighting in the other boat. An amazing flipping of the boat when it hits the shore. They land on the beach, and much like Yosemite Sam or Elmer Fudd, they brush off the carbon from the explosions, or shake their head, and everything's fine again, and they go to a fist fight on the beach, where Castor Troy, of course, spoiler, by John Travolta, is stabbed with a spear gun that is conveniently in the speedboat.
Right. And then shoots him with it just to make sure.
The harpoon gun was in the boat, I think, initially.
Right.
And then after that whole flipping explosion and everything, it happens to end up right near where he needed it to be.
You gotta love that, huh?
Chekhov's gun yet again.
It's that realism. And then they have to do the face-off thing back again. Again, their faces are fine. He could do it again. By the way, if you remember, the doctors, the people that knew about all this were murdered.
Yeah.
They were all murdered in that hospital thing, which was also burnt to the ground. It exploded. Somehow, they were able to just build another face-off hospital, get doctors that it's like, yeah, I'm a podiatrist, but what do you want me to do? You want me to take this guy's face and put it on this guy with all this equipment I've never seen in my life?
Could you make him look like John Travolta again?
Yeah. Could you do that? Like, no one knew about this except those people.
Right.
That was the whole reason to kill those people. So no one could possibly fix this.
They went on WebMD and found a doctor.
Yeah.
In a week, they had everything built, new equipment.
Can we get to the guy from a burn unit to come over here who does grafts every day and just cross our fingers and hope for the fucking best?
Yeah, hope for the best. But no, it was Travolta comes back through the door in that slow motion shot with the family and brings Castor Troy and Gina Gershon's little boy into the house.
Who looked like neither of them.
Who looked like, neither of them. The daughter is now, it looks like she came off of the 700 Club church show. She's just got, her hair is totally straight. She dare not take the evil curling iron to her hair anymore. No makeup. She looks 12. It's like she is straight and narrow now. And the little
I'm
kid
sorry I
comes in,
shot
she
you,
does-
Daddy.
She does the thing to the fucking, when she gets that line, I'm sorry I shot you, Daddy. You go, was that in the script or this idiot improv that and they forgot, or the editor was like, he dozed off when that frame went by? Well, I guess nothing was in there I should have cut out.
Guys, we're on a deadline. We got to go. Leave that in there. Let's just, we can't do it again.
Yeah,
We're
done
burning
with this,
daylight.
okay?
We're at a
I
meal
have
penalty
speedboat
already.
chase to edit that I didn't know about.
Anthony, you don't bullshit. You know there was no editing during that speedboat chase.
That's true. Editing, what? And then Travolta's fine. He's got his regular face and everything. And I'm thinking, what type of adoption agency would give the son of the guy that murdered his son to the cop that killed him? Like, this is fucking. There's no way they'd give that kid to him. But again, there it is, a happy ending. Good luck explaining how you adopted him when he gets a little older and starts disliking you. Starts making a hero of the dead real father, and you're the piece of shit when you have to tell him, yeah, by the way, I spear gunned him.
To be fair, he never really knew his dad, so it's not like he had any kind of emotional attachment to the guy. The kid's in shell shock for like the last 45 minutes of the film. So it's.
He's gonna be.
But I see your point.
In fucking nursery school.
Yeah, the kid still has PTSD from somewhere over the rainbow.
Yeah. The kid is going to end up on Travolta's chest like Karen did in Goodfellas, putting a gun at his head.
Yeah. He's going to have the documents about what happened.
Yeah.
What is this?
There's a whore.
Dad, all right?
There's a whore in 3R. There's a whore. Janet Rossi is a whore in 3R. Okay. Kevin Israel, I'm going to do my notes first. And boy, do I have notes. The first thing I wrote down, I bet every time the PA had to go to get Nicolas Cage from his trailer, that PA had to watch Nicolas Cage rip a vicious rail of coke and yell, "Woo, let's fucking do this." It's not a John Woo film unless there are 18 slow-mo shots of the wind blowing apart someone's coat.
That's it.
As Anthony mentioned. And of course, the flight attendant that Cage shot in the beginning was FBI. She was a 5 at best. All those private jet attendants are Vegas 9s or 10s. Duh. Dead giveaway.
Good point. Another fallacy.
Yeah. I know terrorists are not obviously stable, but Cage gives less than 0 fucks because the pilot says, engine fire. Nicolas Cage says, bang, bang. Ah. Hope you can fly a plane, Cage. Minute 18, I'm exhausted of saying that doesn't happen. Joan Allen could and can still get it. I find her so fucking sexy, especially
really?
Born Ultimatum. Oh, there's something about her. She's in this too.
The mom?
Yeah, go watch Born Ultimatum.
What?
Yeah, go look at
very
go look
matronly. I don't know.
She's not even good for like Brazzer's stepmom.
Stop
porn.
it. Go watch her. It's great. Go watch other films. I tell you, between her and you mentioned this before, Anthony, in Twister, Helen Hunt. I like Helen Hunt.
Oh, why do you like all these average, doughy-looking women?
She's first of all, they are not doughy. Go see Helen Hunt. There's a film that's called like the Sessions. She's a sex therapist who fucks this kid who's like immobile, and she gets naked, and there's not an ounce of fat on her body. So there.
You latched onto her one part.
Aha.
The one
Well,
role she had.
She's not doughy. She's maybe okay. Average, I'll give you, but there's something about those two. I don't know. Okay. The overacting in this film has set a new standard that has yet to be surpassed. How about that? John Travolta did to the daughter's attacker what Uncle Buck should have done to Bug in the movie Uncle Buck. Good to see Gina Gershon getting work after Showgirls. Good for her. An hour and 35 in, I say this movie drags. I love when Travolta karate chopped his boss and said heart attack and did that instant medical diagnosis in less than 5 seconds. Hey, John, wait till they do an autopsy and they find out his trachea is crushed. How about that?
Right. He hit him in the throat and then the back of the neck, and like, they're never going to find this.
And
then,
how about he calls the people in, like, he still calls for a heart attack.
Right.
They could have come in and revived this guy.
Right.
Like, who knows?
And let's fast forward even more where Travolta goes back to work and they go, hey, wait a minute. He died of not a heart attack, but of a blow to the sternum or trachea. And he was in your office. So you're fucking fired.
Yeah,
and
so it's you. I'm not talking about your damn word, Jerry.
The story Travolta told, Nicolas Cage, Travolta as Nicolas Cage told Joan Allen about they were on the date and how she broke a tooth on a rye seed. Does he lean over and say, I guess blowjobs are out for tonight, huh? The boat scene goes on. Yeah, right? The boat scene goes on longer than any hand job I've ever had. By the way, 10 more minutes of that boat chase scene, this would have turned out to be Speed 2 Cruise Control. And you think at the very end where John Travolta hugs Joan Allen, do you think Joan Allen whispered in his ear, can you do all the things that other Sean Archer did to me? Instead of your lazy lovemaking playbook that has put us in this rut of a marriage for the last 15 years. Kevin Israel, I find this, listen, I get it. I get this film is an action, no, turn your fucking brain off, just chill out for 2 hours and 20 minutes, by the way. Way too long for a film of this nature. I get it. This is a guilty pleasure. I own this film, but I must say the dust did come flying off when I pulled it out of my shelf. Does it pass the remote test? Anthony, the remote test is if you catch us on cable at any point, do you drop the remote and watch it at any part? And the answer for me is a vicious no. This movie
it's a no. It's a no. If it's a certain part, I might watch that certain part.
Sure.
And then I'm done. But I don't know.
It may hook you in, but it's going to break the line and get away. I give this movie a 4. Bill Schultz called me a communist last night. I can't. How can you defend this film other than a guilty pleasure? It's way, way, way over the top. And I love action films, my favorite genre. But like you said, Anthony, the plot is paper fucking thin. The character are as deep as the Kardashians' personalities. It's not good.
And the action isn't even really good. Like I love John Wick. I love those movies.
Love it.
Love it. And it's not so much the amazing story or acting, even though there are a couple of really good actors in it. But the action is so crazy and fun to watch. The action in this, it's so dated. It reeks of the 90s. That whole, like I said, the 2 feet away with the gun, the diving, shooting, and things like that. It's kind of comical now to watch when you have movies like John Wick where they're friggin', these guns are going everywhere. He's throwing knives.
Right.
Like, that's kind of the new thing. It didn't age well also, which comes into play with the Face Off.
Sure. But I will say what your point with 90s action, and one film I find near and dear to my heart, I think Kevin does too, is Demolition Man. Same style of acting, but that shit still holds up beautifully.
But that movie was created like a cartoon. That movie was supposed to be a cartoon type movie. This movie was supposed to sort of exist in the real world, where they were trying to justify, like they tried to explain the procedure of the face transplant, and it's like, just nerves. Just say nerves and muscles,
yourself.
And that's what you need to know.
I give it a 4 out of 10. Kevin Israel, your notes.
So I also hyper picked this apart, but you both did a really good job of just tearing the meat off of the bones. So I'm going to go a little just wider of my issues with this movie. First of all, Anthony, when you said this reeks of the 90s, to me, I'm a product of the 90s. And I love everything that reeks of the 90s. So when Kev told me that you picked Face Off, I was like, oh, great. I loved that movie. This is going to be awesome. And I haven't seen that movie probably in 2 decades. And so I sat down to watch it. And the whole time I was like, what did I like about this movie? I don't remember what I liked about it. First of all, the entire time I was waiting for Nick Cage to go, I'm just a dude dressed up as a dude trying to pretend I'm another dude. Like, what, who, they pick these characters, and then, like, we get it. We get it that Castor Troy is a dirty asshole who grabs choir girls' asses and looks like he's coming in his pants. Like that's all they gave us about this character. Like, you get it? He's dirty, and then they just move on. And if he was such a filthy, just sadistic, deviant bastard, he would have tried to bang John Travolta's daughter. Like, that would have happened.
Oh, yeah.
And it would have been this weird, like, I really wanted that horribleness to happen. But then suddenly he became like kind of a dad and was like, let me show you how to stab a guy. And then like, no, that's not who that guy was. That guy was a horrible, selfish sociopath, psychopath. Not this, like, he suddenly became like, I just didn't buy into the whole character thing. Yeah. But initially my big problem was with the procedure. Like you said, there's nothing that would have justified in anybody's mind John Travolta ending up looking like Nick Cage and vice versa. And they gave you this helmet thing that they said, we just put this on their face, and then we put their face over it, and then we attach the muscles. Well, how do you attach the muscles if they has this glass thing over his face? How does that? And if you've made their face bigger, how does that doesn't even? They should have left that whole thing out and just said, we just do it. Don't worry about it. You don't need to know.
True.
And then the whole Nick Cage's or John Travolta, I don't even know. Castor Troy was supposed to be like a genius. He was supposed to be like a criminal genius. He would have known to behave like Sean Archer. Like, he would have known, like, I'm in his house now. I should probably kind of act like him and not like some theatrical weirdo whose wife's going to be, who the fuck is this guy? Like, he didn't even attempt to be Sean. At least Nick Cage was like, I should be that character. I should try to behave like him. And you saw him going back and forth about it. John Travolta was like, nah, fuck it. I'm just going to be this weirdo and everybody's going to accept it because I look like him. Nobody's going to think anything of it. But then at the end, I really thought the end of the movie would have been so much cooler if when he cut his face, when he cut his face, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. Like, fuck you. You're going to kill me, but you're never going to get to look like this again.
Right.
And then they're just like, nah, you can look exactly like that again. And that moment, that kind of cool psychopath had no meaning. It held no weight.
Yeah, it didn't even. It did. You know why? He was cutting himself exactly where they make the stitches to cut, or the laser thing to cut his face off. Why didn't he just drag it right across his face? But again, if they're able to fix the Face Off, should have been a movie about an amazing machine that can get rid of people's scars and help women whose face has been chewed off by a chimpanzee that didn't get a birthday cake up in Connecticut. Like, that's what the movie should have been.
So I would have really liked it if the movie ended with him not being able to get his appearance back, and he had to go through the rest of his life looking like Castor Troy, and that he would have had to live with these twisted demons of like, everybody knows who I am now, but I still see my arch enemy in this, and like his wife leaves him, and he ends up being a drunk, and like his whole life falls apart, but he won. So and then it wasn't worth it.
And then he goes on bath salts underneath an overpass, and then carves his own face apart, ironically, to end the lurid tale that began his life.
Yeah, but my one point of nitpicking was at the very end when he walks back into the house, and his wife's like, "Oh," and the whole family's like, "Oh my god, why the fuck weren't they at the hospital with him? Why were they just waiting at home for him to come home? And who drove him home? Like, what? You didn't come to the hospital. Like, God knows how long this recovery period took." And you were just waiting for me at home to just walk in by myself?
Contamination, bro. They can't. It's fresh wounds, for Christ's sakes.
So yeah, the movie didn't hold up for me. I was excited about it, and then everything just came crashing down. The 90s is ruined for me. Thanks, Anthony. I'm going to go a little higher. I give it a 5. This movie, I was really ambivalent about it, and I watched most of it last night, and then I had to watch the very end this morning, and I actually forgot that I had to watch the ending. And my wife walked in and was like, "Did you ever watch the ending of Face Off?" And I was like, "I thought I saw it. No, I didn't see the ending. I have to go back and watch it." It's a hard 5 for me.
This movie's a facial episiotomy is what it comes down to. Not a fan. Anthony, give me a score on 1 to 10.
I'm gonna go with a 5 also.
Okay.
this is one of those movies that if you are watching it, you're not edge of your seat watching it. You're literally on the couch like this. You start, at the 1.5 hour mark, you're starting to look around the room and just like, am I really committing to this? It's not good. And again, I love things from the 90s, some of the great indie films that came out, a lot of bad indie films too, but all that. So watching this showed you how sometimes you watch an 80s movie and it's just infected with 80s and you go, oh, that movie's just wrecked because it's so affected by the 80s. This has the same thing with the 90s.
Yep.
It's just too affected by what was going on in the 90s in film. So it's kind of a hard watch, yeah.
I'll give you two that I just rewatched from the 80s that I said, ooh, just, ooh. Tango and Cash, not good. I know.
So bad.
And ready for this one's even worse. Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. Oh
yeah.
But that wasn't a good movie when it came out.
No.
Like nobody even thought that. Like Face Off, people were like, "This is a great movie."
I bought it. I walked out of the theater. So I'm gonna go buy this in 6 months on DVD, and I don't think I've pulled it out. And again, 15 years is conservative.
You know who loves Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man? Mickey Rourke, because he likes to look at his face and go, "That's what it used to look like. That's what I was going for."
One of the greatest bits on the old O&A show was when Jimmy Norton was talking to Patrice O'Neill about Face Off, and Patrice is like, "Oh my God, I love that movie. It's great." And Jimmy looks at him and goes, "What? No, it's not." And proceeded to rip the movie apart. And within a few minutes, Patrice looks over and goes, "Damn, that movie is a piece of shit." And it was just, Jimmy convinced him. I think that's what you need. You get so caught up on paper, it should be a good movie. And then in execution, when someone explains it to you or you see it again, you're kind of like, oh, fuck, yeah, that sucked.
So let's get into our. Oh, sorry, Kevin. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you also sort of end up mushing together Nick Cage's other movies that came out right around that time. The
Snake
Rock
Eyes.
And Snake Eyes.
Terrible. I rewatched that again a couple weeks ago. That I hated it in the theater. I go, maybe I'll give it another go. Thank God it's an only and a half. Well, Con Air is fucking great. Let's not get
Con Air. Just watched it the other day.
And The Rock. Yeah.
And The Rock was a good movie. So I think you just see all of these other movies and you go, oh yeah, Face Off was good, just like those other movies. No.
What was the one he did? Was it Kiss of Death? He was that gangster where he's bench pressing that stripper. Damn girl, what you been eating? Remember that? Bad. I digress. But let's do some critics. 5-star reviews.
5-star reviews.
I won't pretend that I completely enjoyed it, but it certainly has a few elements that I've never seen before. Action aficionados will undoubtedly slobber all over themselves. A gorgeously shot, repetitively violent, occasionally repellent, sometimes and consistently trashy fantasy. Face Off as a masterpiece equal to the action classics. 7 Samurai, The Wild Bunch, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. 3 films that should never be lumped in together, period, let alone with Face Off.
I like good food, like lobster and Skittles.
And cotton candy. Fuck out of here. Face Off makes bad movies look worse and makes the making of good movies look like the most thrilling work in the world. And my personally favorite critics 5-star review, overwrought sci-fi crime thriller. Not for kids.
Was this sci-fi?
No, and it's rated R for a reason.
That's a 5-star review?
It sure is.
Wow.
Now, we're going to the critics' 1-star reviews. For all its fiery explosions, Face Off just kind of implodes. After seeing this numbing action flick, I'm still stumped what all the hype is about. So many critics and viewers around the country marveled at this movie, but for what? It's not a horrible movie, but it certainly isn't very good. Style overwhelms any hope of discerning story or acting through the haze of burning, crashing, bleeding, and exploding. And now my favorite review, a $100 million movie with a $3 plot.
Yeah, that's true.
That's giving it $1.99 too much.
Yeah.
I want change with that, asshole. Amazon 5-star reviews. These are the user reviews, Anthony. This is where 4th grade educations come to shine.
Right.
Whoever put John Travolta and Nick Cage, two of the sexiest men in the world and two of the best actors alive today, together in a film was genius. No other two actors could have pulled off this movie so well and so right. I hope no one can really trade faces with people like this. The result in this case is really something to see. This is an action-packed film that will keep you glued to your seat, wanting to see what will happen next. It's a fantastic showing of good versus evil. Whoever wrote this film is a genius.
Oh.
Signed John Woo.
John, yeah. Signed NC and JT.
That's great. Next one. Watching John Travolta and Nick Cage romp around. I get it, because Travolta is gay. Is that your insinuation, kind writer? Romp around for two and a half blessed hours was worth every penny I could have spent on it. Face Off will always be a timeless classic that I watch with family and friends, no matter how much they tell me to, quote, pick a better movie, parentheses, like they know anything. The subtle romantic subplot between the two, Castor and Sean, was a clever and Machiavellian intricacy that would probably go over a lot of people's heads. 10 out of 10. Amazing. Doesn't describe this movie well enough.
This guy watched a different movie.
Signed the guy who signed a Spencer Gifts manager in the mall. You will love it so much. I'm reading this verbatim. You will love it so much, you'll start face waterfalling everyone you love.
Face waterfall? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's where you got the term from.
Yeah, see? What a creep. Bought to go along with one of those sequin pillows that is colored one way and an image of Nick Cage in this instance. The other, a white elephant gift. It was awesome. I like how they lumped in their Amazon purchases with what they got as a white Christmas.
Your stupid tacky pillow.
I bought a pot and iPod charger in this movie. It was good.
Which TSA worker from LaGuardia wrote this review is my question. Amazon 1-star reviews. Oh, Anthony, these are our favorite by far. Don't buy or rent it. It is filled with slandering God's name in vain.
Oh, my.
Who saw that coming?
Yep. The entire film is centered around Nicolas Cage trying to bang John Travolta's wife and daughter over the course of 2.5 hours. It will make you cringe. Also, there is no motive ever explained for why Nicolas Cage's character does any of the things he does. And one final comment from a card-carrying, bleeding heart liberal. Hollywood liberals get upset over the rash of school shootings and police killings in America over the past couple of decades, and they get all indignant and exercise over the political aggression, of the NRA. While I find some agreement with them, they should also take a look in their own backlots if they seriously want to discover one of the causes of America's boys' fascination with guns and violence. Face Off is as good as an example as any. Just saying. Signed, the guy who with HBO Max said no more guns for Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd.
What the hell? This guy's tearing down a Confederate statue somewhere.
I've got 3 more. They are just so great. Truthfully, they're the best.
Yeah.
Truthfully speaking, it sucked and was pretty much the worst movie I've ever seen, except for another bad movie I've seen, UHF with Weird Al Yankovic.
Weird Al's like, why are you pulling me into this?
Yeah, why throw that in?
Yeah.
What did I do?
Someone's not a fan of Amish Paradise, apparently.
Asshole.
Even Weird Al is unsafe from fucking Scatterfire. I accompanied some frenzied drunk software people on a bus to Whistler, British Columbia, Canada. Thank you. We know where that is, asshole. One fine afternoon, as if their loud, intoxicating musings were not enough, the organizer of the trip decided we should all watch movies since she was so kind and organized, spelled with an S instead of the Z, you Canadian fuck, to have brought them. She also took the trouble, this was her first week of work as the group's administrative assistant, to make Rice Krispie treats. Most people were thrilled, cheering about what a nice admin she is. I whispered to my friend, he is the one who has to work with these software people every day, not me. It is her first week. She's still kissing ass. Of course she made Rice Krispie treats. We'll see how long that lasts. Whatever the case, we had to. Just like being in elementary school again, vote on which videos to watch. We end up watching Face Off, and oh, how I could have done without it.
Chapter 3.
I know, Dear Diary. Little Tommy John pulled my hair on the bus. I think that means he likes me as he grabbed my earlobes. Last and certainly not least, my friend loves this film. My friend also loves Pauly Shore films, so that doesn't mean much.
You will not besmirch Biodome, you piece of shit.
Wow.
By the way,
Pauly Shore
Biodome,
movies.
the funniest line of that film I remember, and I did see it in the theater, was when they're on the bunk bed farting on each other and they're guessing what they ate from the smell of their farts. That's sheer genius. It's hilarious. That part's hilarious.
Oh my God.
I saw it in the theater too.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Those are your Amazon 5-star reviews. Kevin Israel, anything else you want to wrap up on? Anthony Cumia as well?
No, I think you guys listen. I think somewhere John Woo just fell down, and he doesn't know why. And I think we did a pretty good job massacring this movie.
What other John Woo films beside Hard Target he did? I rewatched that not too long ago. That's not good either. With Van Damme as a Southern Cajun boy and Wilford Brimley as a Cajun Bayou guy. Ugh. That'll make your asshole pucker up a bit. But there's a game, if you Anthony, I know you play games. There's a game called Stranglehold, I think for PS3, that's John Woo directed. I think it's Chow Yun Fat, where he's a cop and you go around and you shoot shit like you are in Face Off or any of his movies. It's pretty fucking fun. Go get it at a GameStop or whatever. Yeah, I just thought this film sucked. We all thought this film sucked. No surprise. Kevin Israel, did Anthony Cumia gut the sacred cow?
He didn't just gut it. He did a Mortal Kombat Scorpion finish on it, ripping out its spine and then setting it on fire. And I think
Sub-Zero would rip his spine out, to be honest. All right.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Scorpion put the mask off and set him on fire as a Mortal Kombat nerd.
I combined the two.
Wow, you are a connoisseur.
Yeah, I think it's I think this is a no-brainer. This movie was gut and put to bed.
Not only did he gut it, I feel he opened the cow's mouth after he was done eviscerating it and then took a big steaming dump on its mouth, and then took an asparagus piss over his face and eyes. Anthony Cumia did a hell of a job. Anthony Cumia, where can we find you besides Compound Media?
Well, that's pretty much it. CompoundMedia.com. Me and Dave Landau do a show from 4 to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday Eastern Time on Compound Media. And yeah, that's about it. One quick thing about John Travolta in any movie. We directly have Quentin Tarantino to thank for every single post-94 John Travolta movie. Pulp Fiction brought him back from doing the Talking Baby movies, and we've had to sit through an unbelievable amount of Travolta's shit based on that one movie, Pulp Fiction, which is amazing. I think Travolta's great in that, but to warrant all the shit we've had to sit through with him in it, Quentin can go screw himself.
Listen, you're 100% right. Pulp Fiction is my second favorite film of all time, but because of that, we had to sit through Swordfish, albeit
Swordfish.
See Halle Berry's tits, yes, and of course, who can ever forget the classic Broken Arrow with Travolta and Christian Slater?
Yes.
That film is not good.
Just crap, over the top.
And the General's Daughter. Hey, but who else is going to help pay for those Travolta jets that he can do Scientology experiments on? Yuck.
Don't forget Punisher.
Take
I like the Punisher.
And by the way, it shocked me to see Thomas Jane was in this movie.
Yes.
And he came out and I was like, is that fucking Thomas Jane?
Yes.
And then they ended up being together again in Punisher.
I like the Punisher. I like the Punisher. I don't know.
I did. No, I like the Punisher too.
Anthony Cumia, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody check him out at compoundmedia.com, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Check him out.
Thanks so much, Anthony.
Yeah, you can see him in the morning show as well, and on Anthony's show from about a week and a half ago as this airs. And that's it for Gutting the Sacred Cow. Thanks again, Anthony Cumia, Kevin Goatee, Kevin Israel. We're out of here. Take care, guys. See you next week.